reimagining what to change. Many is a big portfolio of processes and organizations, thousands of opportunities to change or improve. So the question is, where's the leverage? How do you decide what to change and what's important? So what do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that's happening right now in the public sector is that the portfolio is almost being forced. I think there are a lot of urgent needs out there. We've seen a lot of news about that. So to me, there's an element of reimagining the portfolio, but also kind of being given the portfolio, if you will, to say, hey, unemployment insurance claims are the highest ever, and we need to address those. So therefore, you need to identify projects to address those. We've seen things take over in terms of the portfolio. I mean, we work a lot in the motor vehicle space, and the Real ID initiative was a big initiative for one of our jurisdictions until COVID came along. And then suddenly the push on getting Real ID enabled and rolled out took a back seat to, we have to open up our DMV offices safely because we have to continue to provide those services to citizens. So I do feel like the portfolio is kind of being thrust on jurisdictions. I think we're obviously going to see renewed focus on continuity of operations and infrastructure to support work from home, because we've also seen that the infrastructure was not really prepared to have everybody work from home. So those are kind of the things that I'm thinking when we think about the portfolio.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point around the needs that are being forced upon governments today, and the overriding argument I would make is agility to continue to meet changing needs, right? So we go from work from home to managing testing, to managing unemployment claims, to starting to look at tracing programs, to eventually running programs to boost employment. And so probably for the next several years, at least the next couple, you're going to have a lot of new needs that are probably outsized relative to the current capabilities. And so some agility in being able to shift and redeploy and meet new needs is I think going to be a key criteria for looking at that portfolio.
Yeah, it's an interesting point as well, because I think 6 months ago, a year ago, when you were thinking about your portfolio, there were not a lot of projects in that portfolio which had never been done before, or which had to be completely strategized and imagined, if you will. So for example, you brought up contact tracing. No jurisdiction has done wholesale contact tracing ever. So it's not only how does this get worked into the portfolio, it's how do we start to do the things you do when you start to identify your portfolio. Is what are your high level estimates? What kind of resources do you need? How does this fit into your other projects that are going? I think there's also an element of, I don't know, blazing a trail with some of these things that are going to be in the portfolio.
Yeah, and I think that fundamentally comes back to the point about why start now, right? There's a lot of businesses probably that are just hunkering down, but you start to say why start improving, or why start driving change during a pandemic? So as you point out, new services are one of those things that say, yeah, start now. The other is that there wasn't really a lot of incentive when things were at least working and stable. Not a lot of incentive to go change a bunch of things, make some investments, and reimagine processes. But just because of demand or changing assumptions, many of those processes have broken. So it's no longer a choice between do I invest to get better? It's you have to invest to just get back to where you were in terms of service, or to meet very new needs in the constituency.